Well, hello there, and welcome back to Brambleberry. Today, I'm doing some work on our internet connectivity situation out here at the homestead. Maybe that's not super important for some homesteaders. For us, it kind of is important. We're away from our homestead because of the nature of our work. So we like to stay connected, and keep an eye on things. And, because of what we do, we're teachers, sometimes we have to access our school stuff at home, and be able to do things like that. So we've been trying to come up with a solution because we're kind of, out in the middle of nowhere here. And we've looked at all different kinds of options out there. And first of all, there's not a lot of options when you're out in a rural area like we are. Well, at least I should say there's not a lot of options that are very good. So that's been the challenge, is trying to find something. We've looked into Starlink. I'm just not wanting to pay that much money. It is pretty pricey from what I have seen. So I've been trying to find something a little bit more reasonable. And then we looked into other satellite-based internet, and all of those have data caps on them. That's kind of a frustration too. We do stream some. We don't watch a whole lot of TV or videos or that kind of thing, other than like YouTube stuff. We do that. That's a bit of a concern, is we don't want to be hitting data caps and to get throttled and all that kind of stuff. So the satellite's kind of out. We looked into cellular options, so you can get cellular routers and put a SIM card in them, and you can have, or a hotspot, that kind of thing. Up until now, we've been using our cell phones as hotspots when we need to, but it's just not a very good connection out here, because we are out in the middle of nowhere. For a while there, we were not getting very good cell reception even, but I think the towers have been improved since we moved out here, so that's getting a little bit better. We ended up going with a cellular router, actually, but not one that's directly through a provider like AT&T or T-Mobile or Verizon, or one of those. You can get cellular routers through them, or hotspots, or however you want to do it. But those also have, from what I've found, data caps on them. And so that was not something I wanted to do. I want something that has unlimited data, because I don't want to be tied down to a certain amount, in case we need more for some reason, whatever that may be. So anyway, the cellular router we ended up going with was through a company called NetBuddy. And just to be upfront with all of this stuff, as of the time of making this video, I don't have any sort of connection to these companies other than using their products. They have not given me anything really. I've bought my own equipment, with a slight exception, and I'll get to that in a second. And I'm sorry, this video is going to be probably a lot of talking up front here, especially just because I need to explain things. But hopefully it'll be stuff that that's useful to you if you're in this situation and looking for something. But anyway, back to the router. So NetBuddy is what we're using, and they have wireless routers that you buy. Depending on the situation, they've got different price points that do different things, that are more powerful, less powerful, indoor, outdoor, all that kind of stuff. So you just kind of got to choose what's good for your situation. And then you get a SIM card through them, and the SIM card has no data caps on it, but it's through one of the major carriers. They have options through T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T, and so you pick the one that's going to work best for your area. So that's what we did. We ordered the router we thought we would need, and we ordered a SIM card. And in looking at the coverage out here in our area, it looked like T-Mobile was going to be the best for our particular area. So I got a T-Mobile SIM card. We put it in, and the connection speeds were just abysmal, just because we're so far away from the towers around us. And there's other things like obstructions, hills, like we're in a hilly area, so that kind of can be an issue too. So I'm gonna, explain our situation, but it's gonna be different for you depending on your situation. So there's a lot of variables to this, is what I'm saying. So anyway, we got T-Mobile. The speeds were abysmal, except for certain times of the day, and then they were actually pretty decent and doable. It's not like blazing fast like cable modem type internet, but it was perfectly fast enough for us. But we're talking at 4:30 in the morning or 5 in the morning, and then when you get down into the time when you actually use the internet more, it drops way off. And so what I discovered is that one of the variables that you have to consider, and it's kind of hard to tell until you actually get the thing and start using it, is network traffic. And because we're in a rural area, the towers are pretty congested. So when you have high usage times of the day, then it's kind of like a pipe. This is, and I'm no expert on this stuff. This is just my understanding. So as always, do your own research. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but maybe it'll give you a jumping off point at least. Anyway, it's kind of like let's say you have a pipe, with water flowing through it. That's your bandwidth. Well, the pipe can only hold so much water and so much bandwidth. And if you keep putting splitters on the pipe, eventually the stream gets slower and slower downstream for all of the individual users, because it has to get split up. So that's what we were experiencing a problem with. We thought, well, let's try a different carrier. So I got to looking at that. In our particular area, Verizon had really bad coverage. It's not like that everywhere, but it happens to be here. So I'm not like dissing on Verizon or anything, or any of these companies for that matter. It's your call who you want to go with. So Verizon was kind of out, and the only other option was AT&T. And we do have our cell phone service through them, and it's been pretty okay for our cell phones as of late. So we thought, well, we'll try that. Well, NetBuddy had them not in stock anymore, and that is one frustration I've had with NetBuddy. And I think it's not a frustration necessarily that is under their control. I think they've gotten a lot of press on the YouTube channels as of late, and have just had a lot of people trying to order their stuff. I think they have good products, I will say that, and they have been pretty helpful in this whole thing. But I had to wait, probably a month before they got the SIM cards back in stock for AT&T. They had T-Mobile the whole time, but not AT&T. Anyway, I finally got on there. You just kind of keep checking back every day to see when they pop up. And I got back on there, and I got it ordered, got my AT&T SIM card, put it in, and the speeds were much better. So I think that's going to be the solution for us. The other thing that we could have done is to get a router with more antennas, ports on the back of it. The one we got was one of the less expensive routers with just 2 ports. If you put up more antennas, then, of course, that's going to help you. But if the network traffic is too high, then which is what our issue was with T-Mobile, then I don't know that the antennas are going to help you much. That's more with the reception side of things. If you are fairly close to a tower, you may not even need one. The routers come with, antennas that go right on the router, and you can use those. But if you're kind of far removed from a tower, then you need an external auxiliary antenna to hook up to your router in order to reach out and pick up that signal from the cell tower. If you just use the little ones inside of your house, your camper, whatever you're in, it's just going to block the signal, and you're not going to get a good enough connection. So that's when you need to use an outdoor antenna. NetBuddy does not, as far as I can tell, sell the antennas, although they do have an outdoor router. I think that is antenna router combination, and I didn't try that. It wasn't something I was interested in, but I guess we could have went that route. But I wanted something with a little more flexibility. That one, I think it's just like its own like self-contained unit, so you can't really, as far as I know, I have not ordered it, so can't tell you all this for sure. But as far as I know, you can't hook an external antenna onto that because it is its own antenna. All that being said, like I said, this is a lot of talking in this video, but hopefully it's information that's helpful to you. And now I'm gonna have you see kind of what we have for our setup now. So here is the router that we bought. I have this in the solar shed here hooked up, and it is a Cuddy router, and it has 2 antenna ports on the back. These other little ones are actually the transmitting ones that create your Wi-Fi network, and there's ones that are similar that you can hook on the back if you don't need the external antennas. But then the cord goes out and it goes up here to our antenna from Waveform. So I was gonna go into a whole bunch of stuff about the antennas and all that in this video, but it turned out to be way too long of a video. So this is gonna be a multi-part series here. It might just be 2 parts, maybe 3, I don't know. But I had a lot more footage of me doing some experiments with the antennas and that whole side of things, and explaining kind of some of that stuff that I really think would be useful for anyone that's trying to do this. So I want that to be something that y'all get to see, but it's too much for this video. So anyway, we're gonna wrap that here with just an explanation of the internet options themselves, and then I'll catch you later in the next video, and thanks for watching.